national anthem protests were probably the #1 storyline in the NFL last season, and apparently the #1 reason why NFL fans watched fewer NFL games last season. That according to the results of a new survey released by J.D. Power. Let's dive into those numbers. The pollster asked more than 9,200 sports fans why they tuned in to fewer games, and 26% of those people who said that they did watch fewer games said that it was because of the Kaepernick protests. 24% they did so either because of the league's off-the-field image issues with domestic violence or with game delays, including penalties. 20% listed excessive commercials and advertising. 16% said it was the 2016 presidential election coverage. 5% said they watched fewer games because they got rid of cable. Here's J.A. Adonde yesterday on Around the Horn with his take on this poll.
The other way to read those is that 75% of the fans who watched less NFL games last year did not do so because of kneeling during the anthem. So, I mean, it's a very small proportion that was really upset to the point they turned out the NFL. In other words, one-fourth of NFL fans were so put out by the kneeling during the anthem that they watched fewer NFL games.
Yet, to his point, 89% of the people who responded to this poll either watched the same amount of NFL or more NFL last season. Keep that in mind as these two gentlemen discuss. Dominique, what is your take on the anthem poll?
Yeah, I understand the numbers, but this poll is still not insignificant. And what this poll tells me is that the people who are responding to it and all the people out there who would agree with it but didn't get a chance to do a poll, they're either lying or their moral compass is askew. Like, I don't necessarily believe that they stopped watching because of Kaepernick, but that's what they said. So maybe they're lying. But I don't accept that this is the reason why. I can't accept that it's a moral reason to stop. Like, all the things you could go through history of the NFL, things that they've done that maybe you could have stopped watching for, like maybe hiding CTE. They knew the issues that were coming around CTE. They covered that up. That's a reason to stop watching. The way that they handle domestic violence, that's a reason to stop watching. The way that they've been fleecing municipalities to build stadiums, that's a reason to stop watching. You know what's not a reason to stop watching? Taking a knee. It's the people do not have an issue with him taking a knee. They have an issue with why he's taking a knee. I will propose to you this particular thought experiment. Maybe it's a different player. He takes a knee, and they ask him why, and he says, it's because I don't approve of how the VA is failing our troops when they return from war. I don't imagine that the reaction would be, oh my gosh, this is so bad. He's disrespecting our country. These people are unhappy with the person who's saying it and the things that he's saying because he refuses to stay in his place in the way that people want him to. So they're using this as a reason to bash on him. They really have not stopped watching because of Colin Kaepernick. And if they have, then I can't really respect the way that they go about laying out morals. Like, I can give down a list of other things, of owners being charged with crimes, many of reasons that you can stop watching the NFL and give it up. But you choose a man taking a stand, a man doing something very heroic and brave, taking a stand to advance a cause that he believes in, that's not offensive to anybody. You choose that as a reason to stop watching, and you watch it with all these other things with no compunction. You continue to watch the NFL while you learn that the NFL hid information that they knew that their players were suffering from traumatic brain injury. They hid that. They obscured that information, and you still watch it. With no compunction, you watch it and you enjoy it. But a man taking a knee is a step too far.
Yeah,
let me respond. The reason why people don't like Colin Kaepernick is not necessarily about the way he protested. It's about that he did protest. You can go through history. We can go through all of history and talk about protests. It's not, people never appreciate the way that you're protesting. They are bothered by the fact that you refuse to stay in your lane or stay in your place and continue with life as the way it is. Like, I can go through all the most nonviolent, simple and protests, and we could talk about how great they were now. We can use Muhammad Ali as an example. And we all look back and say, oh, what he did was great. People didn't like it because they wanted him to shut up and stay in his place, and he refused to do that. So there was no way that Colin Kaepernick could say what he said. There's no way that he could take that position where a bunch of people would not be offended by it because they want him to shut up and stay in his place, and he refuses to do that. And I'm happy, I'm proud of him for doing that. I encourage him and other players to do that, and I think that someone should tell these people that they are wrong, that this is unacceptable reason to stop watching football, because if no one tells them, then maybe they continue to consider that this is okay. I'm talking to them, and maybe this will make them mad, maybe it won't turn, but maybe there's somebody who's on the fence out there who's looking and wondering, like, is this okay? No, it's not. They should know it's not okay for you to stop watching football based on a guy making a political stance. It's not right. It's just not. And I'm not going to sit here and try to defend them and give them a safe place to do things like that. And I have my biases, so I expect you and other people and my friends around me to bring those to my attention. So I'm doing them a service by telling them that that is not okay. You can pick a ton of other reasons to stop watching football. Stop watching football because Colin Kaepernick protests for fairness for black people is not an okay reason to stop watching football.